Hi guys, my name is ConikiTV. Now what I want to talk to you about today is how to lift weights exactly, like how much weight, how fast you should move it, why, and all that sort of stuff. Now it's very simple, you probably haven't heard this before, but I'm going to tell you now. Now just bear this in mind. The purpose of lifting a weight is to fatigue a muscle, that's it. If you fatigue a muscle and it gets overtired, the body sort of gets anxious and tries to do whatever it can to help you lift that weight. And it overworks that muscle to the point that it actually damages it. Now what happens when you go to sleep at night, growth hormone is released and your body repairs that damage. So if, for example, if you're doing an arm curl and you hurt the bicep muscle, that muscle will now be repaired a little bit stronger than what it was before. Now it might take 4 days to actually do that. That's why you can feel muscle soreness for quite some time. Assuming it has been repaired, that muscle will now be physically stronger than what it was before. If you're trying to build a big muscle, in other words, you want that muscle to get larger, what you want to do is you want to pick a weight that enables you to move that weight through a range. So for example, let's look at the example of an arm curl. So you've got a dumbbell in your hand and you're lifting it up and down. Now you don't want that set to exceed 70 seconds. In other words, that set must be completed within 70 seconds. If you want a muscle to grow, it has to fatigue totally, I mean totally, within 70 seconds and within a rep range of between 9 and 12. So what does that mean? If I take 70 seconds and I divide it by 12, it tells me I need just under 6 seconds a rep. So think about that for a sec. You might do 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, holding at the top and bottom for a second. 2 up, 1 at the top, 2 down, 1 at the bottom. That's 6 seconds. And you need to do 12 reps. That's going to take you just on 70 seconds, marginally over. 11 reps will be just under. Now if you did that, you will fatigue that muscle, and when it's totally fatigued after 1, 2 or 3 sets, you will find that when you go to sleep that night and that muscle needs to be repaired, it will repair back stronger by increasing its size. So generally speaking, a larger muscle is basically stronger than a shorter muscle. I know smaller muscles. I know there's exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, if you see 2 people and one guy's got a bigger arm, the other guy's got a smaller arm in bicep size, you could argue that one is basically stronger than the other. There are exceptions to the rule, I understand that. Now, if your goal is to increase endurance, so in other words, let's say you're doing chin-ups and you want to be able to do 15 chin-ups and not 6 like you do now, you need to increase the endurance of that muscle. That muscle must be able to lift you for a longer period of time. Therefore, your reps must be at around 15 and up. Again, 70 seconds is the maximum time. So if you do 70 divided by 15, that gives you 4.6 seconds a rep. Let's call it 5. So that could be 1 second up, 1 at the top, 2 down, 1 at the bottom. Get it? 1 up, 1 at the top, 2 down, 1 at the bottom. That's 5 seconds. Right? If you did 15 of those, you're there. Now you might not be able to do your body weight, so don't use your body weight. Now if you look at one of my workouts, I actually do that. I use a cable, I use less than my body weight, and I do a series of reps. So let the reps dictate the weight. Okay? So if you did that exercise for 15 reps, you would build endurance, the ability to produce power over a period of time. If you want absolute and total strength, so you want to be able to push something that's really heavy. So someone has a go, they can't do it, you have a go, and you can do it. The only way you can do that is, again, the same principle. You want to pick a weight that helps you fatigue in a very short period of time. And of course, you should only be doing up to about 5 reps. So think about that for a sec, right? 70 seconds and 5 reps. What does that work out to? Wow. So let's do 70 divided by 5. That takes us down to 14 seconds within the rep. So think about that. A perfect example would be a squat. Let's say you've got a bar on your back, let's say you haven't. Let's say you just got your body weight. And this is what you should try, guys, just your body weight. Forget about adding weights. Use your body first. If you can't do it with your body, do not add weights. So assuming you just have just a basic bar to keep your posture nice and straight, okay? And what did we say? We said 14 seconds. So let's say we did 7 seconds down. So 7 seconds on the way down. You hold for, let's say 5. So 7 and 5 is 12. 1 up, 1 at the top. So 7 down, hold for 5, 1 up, and 1 at the top. That'll do 5 reps. How many of those you reckon you can do in perfect form? At the end of that, believe me, your muscles won't grow necessarily in size, but they will grow in strength. Now, why do I say strength, muscle size, otherwise known as hypertrophy, and also endurance? Okay, because when you do a workout, you get used to the movement. Your body adapts really quick. You should not do more than 6 workouts that are basically the same. You need to change. Your body will adapt within that time frame. So therefore, you can change the type of workout that you do. So you might do hypertrophy one day, or muscle size. You might go for strength the other day, or you might go for endurance the next. Alternatively, you might do 6 workouts on just strength, 6 workouts on hypertrophy or muscle size, and 6 workouts on endurance. Welcome to periodization, and that's basically what it is. You think about your training in advance. Don't just turn up there and move stuff. It's not about how much weight you lift. The amount has obviously an impact on the result. But if you can't lift properly and you're not lifting through full range, well, then you're not utilizing that muscle through its full range and also every single fiber that's in it. So just to recap, okay, as you do your lifting, the little batteries, as an example, right, within your muscle are slowly depleting. Within the 70 seconds, they've depleted to a certain point. At the end of that set, you're going to have a rest. Why do you have a rest? Well, you need to recharge those muscles, okay? Otherwise, you just do one set of maximal weight, and you're going to be exactly the sort of body shape that you want, and the size that you want, and the strength that you want, and the endurance that you want, which is not going to happen. You need to do a multitude of sets because not all of your muscle is available to do a workout or a lifting of a weight at the same time. It's a part of the muscles given to you by the brain. As it fatigues, a little bit more is released. That's the second set. As it fatigues, a little bit more. 3 sets is the most efficient way to go. In other words, the amount of return you get for the amount of effort is pretty well balanced. You do 4 sets, you're going to get a better result, but the effort's much greater. So in other words, 3 seems to be nice and balanced. In other words, I'm putting in this much effort and I'm getting a great result back. 4 sets will give me a much better result, but I've got to put substantially more effort between the 3rd and 4th set to actually do it. So what's happening, you do your set, you deplete this make-believe battery that's inside your muscle, or group of batteries that are rechargeable. At the end of the set, you give yourself some rest. Now, if you rest 1 minute, you will recharge that battery by half. If you wait 2 minutes, you'll recharge that battery by 3/4, and 3 minutes, it's almost 100%, right? It's actually about 97%. So you're fully recharged within 3 minutes. Now, depending on what you want to do, you need to limit your rest periods. I recommend a minute. So choose a weight that enables you to do the next set within a minute. If you're doing really, really heavy and you're quite advanced, you find your rest periods exceed 3 minutes and you have huge rest so you can put maximal effort in. So that battery is recharged after the first minute by half. So the battery's not full yet, right? Your brain's given more fiber to you. So you're going to do the second set now. So you've got a whole new set of batteries from the new fiber that's been given to you, and a series of other batteries that are only half full now. So you're going to do that second set. So those first batteries now are depleted again, but they're basically running on empty. The second set of batteries that your brain gave to you in preparation for the second set are now half full. So what your brain is going to do is going to give you another set of batteries. On average, within 3 sets, you're going to get most of the fibers within a muscle, as long as you follow the protocol that I'm actually talking about. 4 sets will get them all. If your technique is perfect, you're not resting unnecessarily, your form is not being adjusted during the rep, so even a split second's enough to get rest, like flexing of a wrist like that whilst doing a bench press. It's not targeting the chest. You must keep your wrist straight. Try it and you'll see it. So it's about depleting the muscle progressively of its energy, and at the end of the day, after you've done that set, it's 4 sets all timed to a rhythm or a tempo for a period of time. You know how long each set's going to take. You have a certain amount of rest. You do the 2nd, 3rd and 4th sets. Believe me, at the end of that, you have truly worked that muscle, and it will change. That muscle will change the way you want it. Now, after you finish your workout, you've got about 30 minutes on average of a window of opportunity while those muscles are still active for you to feed them. Now, if you go eat a steak and eggs and bacon and stuff like that, by the time that energy is absorbed from that food, it's already Sunday. It takes way, way, way too long. You need something that you can absorb very quickly. So a pre-digested protein, like for example a protein powder, is going to absorb very quickly. And what you're actually taking is the amino acids, the building blocks of that protein. Whereas when you eat a piece of meat, you're going to chew it, you have to break it down into smaller particles until the amino acids become available, so you can then absorb them. So see, it takes a lot longer to actually do that. Many hours. So if you want to, maximise your gains, you need to eat like within 30 minutes of doing a workout, and that meal should be ideally a protein shake, because it's something that you're going to absorb very quickly, and something that's high glycemic. You want something that's going to spike your blood sugar. So a banana, for example, that's why you see protein shakes with very ripe bananas. Not the yellow ones that look really nice. We're talking about ones that are almost black. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more detail I can go into. All I want you to do today is just try and digest that, no pun intended of course. And if you're uncertain, go back to the beginning of the video, go to our website, www.ConikiTV.com. It's on the bottom of your screen. It'll change your life. I'm ConikiTV. Thank you very much, and see you again shortly. Bye-bye.